Hey guys, so this is part 2 of the carbon cycle paper. So this was the yellow paper I was originally talking about in the first video where I screen recorded for you to show you how to get there. You guys should already know your passwords and how to get to explorelearning.com and all of the other stuff. If you don't have it, I have already sent it to you via email. So this is the first page that we went over together. And then we went over this page. This is the steps I was telling you about. I'll hold this here for a second. So just in case you need to get the answer down, stop for a second, take a picture of it, do what you need to do. Right, good? Okay, perfect. So this second part right here where I told you I was going to let you go free like little birds. So you just have to do on that second part, it says you have to create it, but you have to follow what it says to do. It says click reset. So you click reset and start all over from the beginning. Use the gizmo to create a path in which the carbon atom goes from the atmosphere, the hydrosphere, the biosphere, and the geosphere, and describe transitions loosely, okay? So do that in just a brief transition. So atmosphere, once again, is already done for you. It's pre-done for you right here. Ooh, my light's a little bright. Let me see if I can turn down this light a little bit. Here we go. All right. So this is your atmosphere. Now your hydrosphere. So that original little monster packet that I gave for you guys to go over and look at and make creations for, that was with a purpose. That wasn't just filler, that had an actual purpose to it. So the word hydro means water. Okay? So you're going to click on that hydrosphere. And it's going to tell you a word. So when you click on hydrosphere, it's going to tell you oceanic, right? So from atmosphere to oceanic, CO2, you're going to read the description. So I'll read you the description. So atmosphere to oceanic, carbon dissolves in cold water. So you're going to write that in the little box. Carbon dissolves in cold water, okay? And then you're going to click on the biosphere, which would be the green marine plants, right? So the green marine plants, that's what you're going to click. And the marine plants do this. It says, in the process of photosynthesis, marine algae and plants remove carbon dioxide from the ocean water, forming glucose and oxygen. They do this in what process? The photosynthesis process. Very good. Now you're going to click on the geosphere, which would be the sediment. So you're going to click on sediment. So under geosphere, you're going to write sediment. And sediment says, uneaten plants and algae drift down to the ocean floor and become part of marine sediment. A large amount of the carbon is stored in this sediment. Okay? So that's what you do for this part down here. You just click through it. Just make sure that you go from atmosphere to hydrosphere to biosphere to geosphere. Now everybody should be on this part. You should be on this side right here. As you see, I don't have it filled in yet, so I shall be doing that with you guys right now. So I'm going to get out my favorite writing tool. Of course, you guys know that it's green. And I'm going to look at it. I'm going to extend my screen, make it a little bit larger so that I can see it. Now we're going to read it together. It says, activity A continues on from the previous page. Number 3 says, explore, use the gizmo. So again, I'm going to reset my gizmo. So you guys at this point should already be in your gizmo. Use the gizmo to create 3 more carbon paths. Each of them starts with the atmosphere. And now I want you to think about that. So pathway 1 starts with atmosphere. I'm going to write the letter A. If pathway 2 starts with atmosphere, I'm going to write the letter A. And if pathway 3 starts with atmosphere, I'm going to write the letter A. Okay, so it should look like this. All right? So now I'm just going to write an arrow or a dash. And now for my first pathway, I have the choice to go, what do I want to do? Now first we have to read. It says label each location with an A for atmosphere, a B for biosphere, a G for geosphere, and an H for hydrosphere. You can also use the P for anything that is man-made, okay? So I am going to click on the exposed rocks. So from atmosphere to exposed rocks are what? They are part of the geosphere because rocks are not alive. Okay, so from geosphere, I'm going to make another arrow, and the only option that I'm seeing in front of me is the ocean. So from the geosphere to the hydrosphere, I'm going to make an H, and then I have two options. So I think I'm going to click on the seashells, which again, seashells in marine life dissolved in oceanic shells and skeletons. So that would be under the geosphere as well. And then from there, I can click on, it only gives me one option of limestone, which again would be the geosphere. And then from geosphere, it only gives me, it gives me a cement plant. So we can go over here and make some concrete, which would be under P, because that's what people make. And then, yeah, I can go right back to atmosphere, because a plant puts out horrible pollutions. It goes back into our atmosphere. And I'm going to end with my A, and I will show you what I have in just 1 second. Okay, so this is what I have for my first one, AGHGGPA. Okay, so it should look something like that. I want you guys to really have fun with it because it is really cute little thing to get on and play with. So you guys on your own can do path 2 and path 3. So you can pause this video, finish up pathway 2, finish up pathway 3. Get that done as long as it starts with atmosphere and ends in the atmosphere and you know how to label them. And now remember, your words here, biosphere, hemisphere, all of that, the definitions for them are on this side. They're on this side. Those words that are highlighted right here, that's where the definitions of those are for, okay? So now we're going to go to question number 4. It says explain. Based on the gizmo, explain how the following transitions might take place. Describe at least 2 ways that carbon can get from land plant to the atmosphere. So what's 2 ways that carbon can get from the plant back to the atmosphere? So we already know one way. We can say by burning. So anything that burns can go back. And one other way that you can think of, let's see, I'm going to click reset. So I'm going to play with my gizmo here. I'm going to go ahead and extend my screen again. I know you guys can't see it, but I'm going to do that. So I know that if I cause a forest fire, I can get the carbon from the land plant back. So how about if I click land plants and see what it gives me here? So I'm going to click soil. Ooh, and from soil, I click sediment. And from sediment, I can click natural gases, and natural gases go to a power plant back to there. So I can say power plant. So my second one, I'm going to say power plant. You can say whatever one you want because there's no wrong answer for that one, okay? Alrighty, so we're just going to move right along here. So the second one says, describe at least 2 ways carbon can get from the atmosphere to the hemisphere. So how can we get the carbon from the atmosphere to the hydrosphere? So I'm looking at atmosphere and I'm just going to click on there. I'm going to click right on the ocean. So how can I get the atmosphere to, so how am I going to get CO2 to the thing? So first one, it is, I'm going to say rain or precipitation. Rain is one way. What's another way that we can get? I'm going to click exposed rocks. So exposed rocks as well. That's another one that I found because it says exposed rocks. The Earth's atmosphere and carbon dioxide dissolves into rainwater, forming a weak acid called carbonic acid, H2CO3. The acid reacts with the minerals and causing them to slowly dissolve. So exposing rocks. The exposed rocks is another way we can get that in there. So rain is the main one we can get. Okay? Exposed rock. Okay? Can you find, so number C, letter C says, can you find 2 ways that carbon can get from the ocean to the lithosphere? So again, I am going to, of course, we start at the atmosphere. We're going to go to the ocean. We click on the ocean. I'm going to click seashells, and then I'm going to click limestone, and then I'm going to click lithosphere. So what the 2 ways? That's one way. So through coral, through limestone. So I'm going to say, it says the lithosphere is the rigid including the crust. All right, well, the crust and the mantle. So we're going to say through coral, and limestone. That's one way. So the second way, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to play with my gizmo for just a second and see another way that we are going to get from the ocean to the lithosphere, because there's more than one way. I'm wondering if we can go back and go through the sediment. So I'm going to go all the way back. I'm going to click reset on our game, and then I'm going to click ocean, and then I'm going to click marine plants and algae. Then I'm going to click sediment, and yes. So you can go from, so that's the first one was through coral and limestone. And then the second one is through algae. So algae, sediment, okay, sediment, and then it makes it to the lithosphere. So it goes through algae and sediment that way. So how it gets to the lithosphere there is the carbon-containing sediments form as sedimentary rock, such as shale and slidestone. These rocks are part of the Earth's lithosphere. So that's pretty cool. I actually kind of like this. Okay, describe at least 2 ways carbon can get from seashells to the atmosphere. Ooh, I really, really am enjoying this so much. So we're going to go back to the ocean. We're going to start with the atmosphere. Click on the ocean. We're going to click on the seashells. And then from there, we can only click on limestone. And I can go to cement plant. And the cement plant back to limestone. Or back to, not limestone, but back to atmosphere. So from there, I'm going to say from limestone, and then comma, and then I'm going to say cement plant. CEMENTPLANT. And then my next one, let's see, there's got to be one more way. Okay, so I'm going to click ocean again. I'm going to click coral again. I'm going to click limestone again. Lithosphere. Okay. And then I'm going to click on the volcano. And then I'm going to click on atmosphere. So how did I get from the seashells to the atmosphere this time? So this time, again, I went from the seashells. So I don't have to write seashells. So I'm going to write limestone. Then I'm gonna write, instead of saying straight from limestone to cement plant, we're gonna go down to lithosphere. T-H-O-S-P-H-E-R-E, and I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm going to write the word volcano, and then that's how you do it. Because the volcano releases it back into the atmosphere, right? It releases the CO2 back into the atmosphere. All right, I'm going to show you guys what I have really quick so you guys can know. I got to find you guys first. All right, so this is what I have thus far. My first pathway, you on your own do your next two pathways. They are all, there's all your answers for that page. Now we're going to move on together to the next page. So as long as you have activity A, that should be almost completely done. And you should be all caught up with me. You should be on activity B, human activities. Okay, so it tells us once again, now this time we're going to burn some fossil fuels. Is fossil fuels good for us? That's a debate, right? We don't want to debate in class. So, it says activity B, up here, activity B. You need to be on activity B. It says click reset. So on your gizmo, you're going to reset it and we're going to start from scratch, okay? I know there's all kind of different things in the models and the questions. We're not there yet. We're still on that very first one. So introduction, fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and natural gas formed over millions of years from the remains of ancient plants and animals. The burning of fossil fuels, as well as other human activities, increase the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And I think we went over that on Monday and then again on Tuesday, where I had mentioned that I'm going to get out my green writing tool again because you guys know this is my favorite one. I don't know what I'm going to do without it when it finally runs out. We're going to have to find a blue one. So I'm going to look at this little introduction of fossil fuel. And I'm going to underline the very first sentence. Fossil fuels, such as coal, oil, natural gas, form over the millions of remains and ancients and plants. I'm going to stop at animals. That whole first sentence, underline that for me. Be great. All right, so our question says, how does human activity affect the carbon cycle? Describe using the gizmo. Determine how coal and petroleum oil are formed. Describe the steps that are required for each to form. Okay, so this is kind of where I wish I could do the back and forth thing, but, you know, I'm not professional. So I'm probably going to make another video where I walk over how you do this. So I'm going to reset my gizmo. So if you're already in your gizmo, you're going to reset your gizmo. And now I want to get to coal. So it says use the gizmo. Determine how coal and petroleum, which is gas. If you're wondering what that means gas for your car. So how are we going to put gas inside my car? Okay, our form. So the first one we want to know is coal. So I'm going to go to atmosphere like it gives it to us. I'm going to go to land plants, and then I'm going to click on coal. Okay, and then from coal, I can click the power plants. And from the power plant, I can go back and click the atmosphere. So did you catch all that, or did you need me to slow back down? Okay, so describe the steps required. So step 1, atmosphere. So I'm just going to say Atmos, which is A-T-M-O-S. To plants, to photosynthesis. So I'm going to say photo. To coal, because if we reset and we go through each one, so we go from atmosphere to land plants, from land plants to coal. So how do we get from land plants to coal? So in the description here it says plant material accumulates in swamps and can become buried, compressed, heated, and slowly transformed into coal. That's a pretty cool thing. That's why we need swamps. Coal makes up about 85% of fossil fuel. Okay, so we did from the atmosphere to photosynthesis to compression. See, I'm using all my words that we were talking about in class. I said you guys were going to have new vocab. So to compression, to power plant. So instead of saying power plant, we're going to use our new big word that we just found. And it is anthrosphere. And I will spell that for you. that is ANTHROPOSPHERE. From there, we click the power plant, and from the power plant, I click on the atmosphere. And then instead of saying atmosphere, I'm going to say cellular respiration. So I'm going to say CR. Okay. And now petroleum, which is gas for my car. Okay. So now I'm going to reset. And now we need to go find our petroleum, which I see is in the middle of the ocean. So I'm going to start using my mind, using my thinking cap that we pulled on. I'm going to go from atmosphere to ocean. So I'm going to click on ocean. And from ocean, I'm going to play around with this just for a second to see what this gives me so I can get a good idea. So from ocean to marine plants to sediment to petroleum to my car back to my atmosphere. All right, so now I think we got it down. After we fiddled with it just for a second, because this is like really, really fun. And off to the side, if you see your gizmo, it shows you the pistons inside your car and how they're working. So you go from the atmosphere. So again, I'm not going to write out the whole word. I'm just going to write Atmos, ATMOS, to, we're going to go to the ocean or water. So OCEANIC, to plants. So we're going to say, make sure we say marine plants because we don't want just random plants. Or algae. Algae's better. ALGAE. To sediment. Make sure we write out the word sediment, okay? Because you don't want to just write out the word SID. Sediments. To the petroleum, which is gas. So we need to know that because that's where we get, a good part of our oil. And we will actually discuss how we extract oil from the ocean. And I will tell you a fun story time about what my little brother used to do for his job, and that was one of his roles. He worked on something called an oil rig. So from the petroleum to my car, so I'm going to write car, and then to Atmos again. Because again, your car leaves off CO2 emissions, and we don't like that. But sometimes we just deal with it. So Atmos. All right. So my handwriting is not the best, but we're going to shrink down this screen so I can pull you guys back up. Like I said, I'll be screen recording this again, so there will be a part 3. I'm so sorry. But there is the answers right there for what we just did. Because there's only really 2 ways you can get there. So the next thing you guys want to do, it's called number 2. It says explore. Natural gas is a mix of methane and ethane and other gases. Okay? So find 2 ways that natural gas forms. List the steps. The 2 carbon pathways. So you know we're going to start in the atmosphere. So we might as well just say Atmos. So pathway 1, might as well say Atmos, or I would just label it ATMOS. And then pathway 2, we're going to start in the atmosphere. We're not going to start anywhere else, right? Because everything starts in the atmosphere. That's why we really have to take care of the atmosphere and really be mindful of what we're doing. So, because that's what we have a buildup of greenhouse gases, which we will be going over very, very soon. All right, so I'm going to go pull back up my gizmo. I'm going to make him go full again. I'm going to set my reset button. Now, the first thing it says is how do we get our methane and our other gases, our other natural gases. So our 2 natural gases, which is petroleum I see our natural gases. Okay, so I'm wondering if we can go from land to soil. Nope, that doesn't let me do that. That did not like that. So we're going to start again. So we're going to land to coal. Oh, wait, hold on. We can actually go straight. Hold on. Go to land straight to natural gas. Natural gas to power plant and power plant. All right. So there's section 1 for pathway 1. So you want to go atmosphere, land, plant. So I'm putting LP. So because there's not a lot of room there. LP. I'm making a small arrow to natural gas, which is NG. Making another arrow to power plant, which I'm going to put PP. And then I'm going to write Atmos because it goes right back into the atmosphere. All right. So that pathway is completely done. Okay, so now we're going to look at the second pathway. So what's another way we can get to that natural gas? I wonder if we can click in the ocean, and then we click the seashells, and then we click this one and lithosphere, and that doesn't let me do it that way. So let's go back a few steps. So ocean, algae, marine animals, sediment, natural gas, power plant, atmosphere. All right, so the other way that I did it, because I seen when I was playing with it, there's about like 3 or 4 different ways you can get to natural gases. Okay, so the way that I just went, I went from atmosphere to ocean. So I'm going to put water. I'm going to put H2O. I'm going to arrow, and then I'm going to say marine plants, which I'm going to put MP. And I'm going to put another arrow, and I'm going to say marine animals, which is MA. And then I'm going to say sediment, and I'm going to write SEDI. And then I'm going to say natural gas in G. Then I'm going to say power plants, PP. And then I have to squeeze it in here back to Atmos. So ATMOS. Okay. So we got that one done. All right, we got that one done. So these are them. Again, my stuff is all backwards for you, and it's really hard to read, but that's perfectly okay because it's my answer key. So it says, how is the formation of natural gas related to the formation of coal and petroleum? So that is a question that I'm not giving you the answer to. You have to know it because you just did it. Okay? All right, I'll wait for you just a second. Are you done? Good. All right, now we're going to go to number 3. It says describe fossil fuels are used in many ways. Using the gizmo, describe the main use for each fuel. Okay, we can do that. Let's see. We're going to go back to my gizmo. I'm going to make him large again. All right, so I am going to say coal. I want to go to coal. So land plants straight to coal. Okay, so it says here, plant material accumulates mixing of, all right, so now I'm going to click. Oh, so what is coal used for? Heated, very high temperatures destroying everything. Okay, so there's several things that coal is used for. So if you click in this direction, so you go from atmosphere to land plant, and land plant to coal, coal to the lithosphere. Now this is where it gets interesting. That's why I told you to do this way. So one way coal is used. So it says coal to lithosphere. Rock layers containing coal may be buried deep in the Earth's crust and heated at very high temperatures, destroying the coal and forming carbon dioxide, which goes into the volcano. And the volcano is heated. So I'm seeing the word heated. So the first way I went was land plants. I went from atmosphere to land plants to coal, coal to lithosphere, lithosphere to volcano, volcano to atmosphere. When I did that, I seen the word heated. So now I'm going to reset, and I'm going to go atmosphere to land plants to coal to power plant and see what this says. Coal used in power plants generates electricity. All right, so coal in power plants. So I'm going to write in power plants used for electricity. Okay, do you have that? I'll wait for you. If you need to rewind and go back. CRT. So used for electricity. In the U.S., about 32% of electricity is generated using coal. So, and then of course, the coal power plant puts the CO2 back into the atmosphere. So now we need to look at the petroleum. So we need to go from atmosphere to ocean, and from ocean to marine life, and then to sediment, and then to petroleum, and then from petroleum to lithosphere, and lithosphere to there. All right, well, we need to figure out some steps before we get ahead of ourselves. Ocean. Okay, so top two layers combust, overheat millions. Okay, so the petroleum that's used, that's the use we put inside of our car. So I see my car is going, so I'm going to click it. So petroleum to car. Petroleum, which is called crude oil, is refined into gasoline. So it's refined into gasoline. REFINED into gasoline. 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 All right. Natural gases are up next. Let's see what we have going for our natural gases. So for natural gases, I'm going to start with land plants and straight to natural gases. Natural gas is straight to our power plant. So natural gas to power plant, natural gas is used for power plant. Once again, natural gases are used for electricity. And also things called propane. It doesn't see it in here, but propane is what you can put on your grill, on your kitchen stove. Some people up north still use propane heaters. So we're going to put in there using for things such as heat. I'm going to write heat and electricity. Okay? Alrighty. It says, in each case, what is the end product of the burning fuel and where does it go? So in each case, what is the end product of the burning fossil fuel? Where does it go? So you already know where it goes. So it goes, and so you can rewrite that. It says it goes into the atmosphere. So it goes into atmos. ATMOS. And then what's the end product of the burning fossil fuel? So coal and natural gas burn power plants to boil water and steam. They all become carbon dioxide. So they all become carbon dioxide. So all become CO2. All right, so this is this part of our page is all done. We're all filled out. Hooray, hooray. Now we're moving on to this section. All right, so activity A, continuing from activity B, continuing from previous page. Number 4, explore. Another major contribute to the atmospheric carbon dioxide is cement industry. Use a gizmo to find the carbon atom pathway from the atmosphere to the cement plant. Hint, One of the ingredients in cement is limestone. So I'm happy to give us a hint on that one. So I'm going to go back to my gizmo. I'm going to make him big on me again. I'm going to click my reset button because we want to start from scratch. Now, how are we going to end up to the cement plant? Now, I know we have to get to limestone. What is the fastest way to limestone? So let's go from atmosphere to exposed rocks to the ocean, from the ocean to the seashells, from the seashells to the limestone, from the limestone to the cement plant, and back to the atmosphere. So you ready? So I'm going to write A for atmosphere, an arrow, E, R for exposed rocks, another arrow, O for ocean, I'm going to write LS for limestone, then I'm going to write CP for cement plant, and then I'm going to write A for atmosphere, and it should look like something like that. Okay? How is carbon dioxide produced in a cement plant? So if we look, the very last thing I have set up is the very last one, from cement plants to atmosphere. It says the cement plant limestone is heated and produces calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Well, there you go. There you have it. The calcium oxide is used to make the cement, while carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere. It says, how is carbon dioxide created? So it's produced naturally, right? So you can say produced by heating the limestone. Produced by heating the limestone. Alrighty. Because that's what it says. It says in the cement plant, limestone is heated and produces the calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So it's produced kind of naturally. All right. It says, number 5 says analyze. So it says, first off, it says click to reset. Then navigate the land animals, select, methane. We're going to move on to methane gases now. Okay, so it says navigate the land animals, select the from land plants to land animals to nothing. Okay, so all I did was I clicked on atmospheric CO2, which is the only thing that you can, is highlighted in yellow. Then I clicked on land plants, then land animals, and then the one in the top corner that says atmospheric CH4, which is methane. So how do land animals create methane? It's gas. It's methane gas. And if you're looking, and you're probably all giggling at this point because you can just write down cow farts. In the guts of many grazing animals, bacteria break down undigested materials and produce methane gas, which is CH4. The same gas is produced by humans when they break wind. So you can write down cow farts. I'm going to write that down. Okay, so now that you are all done giggling at me, B says, humans raise large numbers of cattle for food. How will those herds of cattle affect the atmosphere? So how will those large things, so we're going to click land plants, land animals. All right. So how does that affect? Humans raise large numbers of cattle for food. How will each of these herds of cows affect the Earth's atmosphere? So we know they produce several things, right? So one, we can say cows make CH4 and they make atmosphere, so atmos, AM, ATMOS, atmospheric CO2. So that's how they do that. So they make methane and they make carbon dioxide, right? Because the cow eats the plant and creates the cellular respiration that we've been going over. Now we're learning something a little bit new. Okay, so number 6. In many tropical forests, people clear land by cutting down the trees and burning them. After a few years, the soil runs out of nutrients and cannot be farmed any longer. How does this practice of slash and burn agriculture affect the atmosphere? So let's do slash and burn really quick. So do you guys remember in class when I said let's set fire to things? So we're going to go back to our land plants. We're going to start a forest fire. Okay, so it says it right there. It says from land plants to forest fires. Large areas of forests are destroyed by forest fires every year. Some fires are natural, but others are set by people as a way to clear for agriculture. This is called slash and burn. It is common in tropical forests. Okay, but how is it affecting our atmosphere? It's affecting our atmosphere. So burning wood produces carbon dioxide gas. Forest fires and burning wood for fuel is a major source of atmospheric carbon dioxide. So simply by clicking on our original little triangle I had you guys set up with, that's what we did. So you can write all of that down. So burning wood. So burning wood produces CO2 gas that is released into the atmosphere. ATMOS. Here we go. All right, so now I'm going to click reset and see what happens next. So draw a conclusion. In general, how do many human activities influence our carbon cycle? So how many activities? So that's really, that one's going to be, I'm going to write, on my end, I'm going to write may vary. Because I want you guys to answer this with your heart. Okay, I want you guys to really think about what's happening inside of our carbon cycle on a daily basis. How do we as people influence what goes on in our atmosphere? From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to school and you talk to your friends, you eat your lunch, you break your winds, and get picked up and you drive in the car, maybe you go to the grocery store, maybe someone has to stop to put gas in the car. You drive home and you cook dinner and then you go to bed. How are we every day affecting our atmosphere? So I want you to tell me that. Okay? Hey, and guess what? We're all done. We are all done with that packet. So like I said, I'll go back and I will make the screenshots or the videos for you to watch of me clicking through each one just so that way you can follow along on it because I don't want you guys to get lost. All right? So I will see you in a minute.